I'm here with my good friend Ernie, and he's going to tell us about his entry into the Concours today. Ernie, what have you brought?
Okay, it's a 1986 560 SL, and I've owned it for 12 years. It's got 33,000 miles on it. It was originally purchased in Atlanta by a gentleman that lived in Columbus, Georgia. He was 80 when he bought it, and he kept it at St. Simon's Island in a garage in a condo that he owned. He only used it in the summer. What's unique about it, he put a cutoff switch in the trunk that eliminated all the electric current to the whole vehicle. That way, when it wasn't being used when he wasn't in St. Simon's, the battery didn't run down.
Right.
But it's been one of the best anti-theft devices you could ever get. You just go in the trunk and hit the button and nothing works, and people don't know what's wrong with it.
I have heard of that on a car before, and it was an unintentional cutoff switch. And it worked beautifully.
Yeah, well, this one's intentional, and it does work beautifully. But anyway, I think it had 20,000 miles on it when I bought it, and it's got 33,000 now. So I put 1,000, 2,000 miles a year on it, and the black on black is a fairly unusual color. It's black, red, and white are the most common colors produced in the SL class, with 4 or 5 unusual colors that have made those cars a little more valuable. But I always like the black on black. I think it shows well. It doesn't show dirt much in a way, and it just looks classy compared to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now you'll notice 86 had the wide bumpers in the front and rear. A lot of people prefer the European smaller bumpers that were on cars till through 85. And in 86, the federal safety requirements in the U.S. required that Mercedes have wider bumpers with more shock-absorbing ability. So and I like the wider bumpers. A lot of people feel like classically they like the smaller ones. But this car still has a lot of get up and go, and they're becoming more valuable, I guess, over the last couple of years. They made a lot of them over 12 years. But I think the supply is dwindling a little just from people who haven't kept up with them, or they've been in wrecks or whatever, or just belong to old people like me, and they don't get them out enough where they can count them.
Right. Well, I really like the wide bumper myself. This car with the wide bumper kind of reminds me of the sort of things you would see on a James Bond car in one of the Bond films. You know, had to be a bit more robust to get away from the bad guys, all that.
Exactly. And this car, too, one of the big advantages, there's nothing electronic on it. So everything there's no plastic. It's all metal. It's heavy. It's easier to keep up because there's no electronics. Everything's mechanical, which makes it last longer and more durable.
Yeah. I was just looking at the feeders for the seatbelt. You know, speaking of no plastic parts, they are a beautiful chrome metal then.
Right.
It really makes it look very tight, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great car for old people.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, you're not going to get hurt if he gets hit.
It's like a small tank, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, the black on black is really distinctive, too. Do you notice, well, let me ask you this. We're in the South. It is very hot here much of the year. Do you take it out? Does it have air conditioning? Do you take it out in the hot weather?
It has air conditioning, and I take it out, and then the top's down a lot too when it's very warm.
Okay.
But it does heat up like most dark-colored cars.
Yeah. So we were talking about the top. Could you tell our viewers about, what do you do as far as it's a hand crank top? How do you do that?
There's 2 levers that are involved that come with it that are in the glove compartment, and those loosen 2 nut screws that are in the upper windshield to release the top, and there's a small lever in the back seat that releases the rear catch, and it's all mechanical. You take it up and down by yourself, as opposed to the 1990 models when they came out that had the hydraulic tops that went up and down. And most people, the only thing I've ever heard anybody complain about this model is they don't like getting out and putting the top up and down as opposed to pushing a button. But doing this, the hydraulics don't go bad. The newer ones from 1990 to 2000, some of the hydraulics they've had to replace,
Right.
which is a little more expensive. Or you get somewhere and the top stands straight up and it won't go down because your hydraulic broke.
Oh my gosh. You wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to move, would you?
And this one's almost idiot proof. You can put it up and down just by yourself.
Yeah, but you have to be really intentional about it. You have to really mean it, right?
Right.
You
And
can't change your mind.
It takes 2 or 3 minutes, so you have to anticipate rain.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I'd be paying attention.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, where do you like to take this car when you take it out?
Usually on not city driving, but just driving through the countryside. And interstates are okay, but side roads are much more fun and better.
Yeah.
And it was built to be a touring car, just sort of a sports touring car,
Okay.
as opposed to a small sports car like a lot of people in Europe preferred, with less distance to go and more winding roads. But
Yeah.
this was I guess the only sports touring car of its era.
If there was anything you could change about the car, would you?
I can't think of anything.
Ah.
I'm sure there's something, but it just doesn't hit me what it would be. But they're a classic body design. I feel like they'll be around a long time.
Yeah.
And they're very durable, and the owners are durable too.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Take care.
Thanks.